Hello.
Welcome to the campfire and to the first of our Finding the Extraordinary in the Ordinary interviews. So I appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thank you. It's great to be here, but I don't see a campfire.
Yes, and that's absolutely necessary for the ambiance of this session. And let me light this puppy for us here. Here it is. Just be very careful. It's pretty raging
Yeah,
fire.
it's very it's tall.
It's tall. Do you enjoy camping? Have you enjoyed camping in the past?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed camping, and the early days it was in a pop-up trailer, and then the later days less and less, more tent camping and sleeping bags and
Yeah. Lots of as a young Phil, or multiple trips and different experiences.
throughout my whole life, other than like the last 10 years, it's kind of waned a little bit, but getting outdoors and getting dirty and making a camp, it's kind of a primal thing it's fun to do, and nothing like starting your own fire like this one here.
Yes.
It's moving.
So we're here to talk about your genius. If we're each born with some God-given gifts and skills, and really wanted to get some stories around how your genius has come to light and really served the greater good. And the one story that really comes to mind is when I was talking to your mom about this, actually preparing for the video. And something that also causes her to choke up every time she thinks about it is when you encouraged her to get a job at McDonald's. And one would never think that that would be a life-changing moment for any individual. But tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I do remember that it wasn't specifically about the job at McDonald's, but it was about finding something for her to do, because as we were growing up, she always did everything. She cooked, cleaned, did the laundry. It was very traditional back in those days that the dad worked and the mom took care of the house, and that was certainly the house I grew up in. As we got older and older, we wanted to take care of ourselves, and we weren't home as much, and there was sports and activities and cars and places to go, and so there was just less for her to do. And so I could tell that she was a little lost. And I talked to her and I said, I really think that with your reliability, your honesty, your integrity, how organized you were, nobody keeps a calendar like my mom and a schedule and gets things done. And I said, you would be invaluable to any place that would hire you. And I said, go out, try it. And she applied at McDonald's and she got a job. And it changed her life because she enjoyed being around people and working hard and serving. And that led to another job and then to another. And she ended up being an executive secretary to the president of a bank, where she was his right-hand person. And she did shorthand and she took notes. She met with customers. And so she was the gatekeeper to the president of the bank. And that gave her a lot of value, made her feel good about herself. And it used a lot of her skills. So I think she's always appreciated the nudge that I gave her. That's all it was. And so that's why she probably gets choked up, because she probably wouldn't have done it if she didn't get the nudge.
And that really leads us to one of your core talents, which is really being able to analyze things, take situations, break them down into their different parts. And you certainly looked at your mom's situation and realized that there were some solutions in front of her that she didn't see herself. And I think you've proven that in your career, in the mortgage industry for years. Being able to break things down, break them into different parts, and then be able to set some things in motion. So that's a wonderful story. I think one of the other things that I think is part of your core is making sure you follow through. That you're committed to your word and you're committed to others and making sure that, they are, uh, they can count on you. And probably one of the most interesting examples I could think of that is, you put your foot into a shoe and then got stung by a black widow spider. Um, and it was literally the day before you were about to take a trip. I think it was to Tahiti or,
Indonesia.
oh, Indonesia.
Yeah.
But there's Phil, with a poisoned leg, flying I don't know how many hours across the world. Tell us about that, and why did you still go?
Well, when you put your sandals on, don't leave your sandals outdoors because stuff could be in them. That's my advice. In my case, there was a black widow in my sandals that I put on, and it literally bit me 3 times. I thought it was a pebble inside my sandals. It wasn't. It was a black widow. And the pain started in my foot, and then it started to really move up my leg, and then it came all the way up into my abdomen and my groin, and it was throbbing, excruciating. And so I called my doctor, and he said, get in here. And because I'm allergic to horses, he couldn't give me the antidote, which is horse serum. And so he said, the only thing I can do is give you medication that will deaden the pain. And he goes, I promise you'll sleep really well on the flight, which was a 14-hour flight. So I did it because it was a trip I'd look forward to. It was going on a boat for 2 weeks and with a group of friends I really enjoyed. And I knew that I could just power through it, and I will find a way to enjoy the trip. Even if I was in pain, I could figure it out. So, and my doctor happened to be a surfer, so he wanted to know all about the trip, and he goes, I'll make sure you sleep well and that you're going to be fine in a couple days. And I was.
That's a great story,
Yeah.
and sort of a great segue into the next area that I wanted to explore with you, and that is your traveling around the world, and you've been on many trips to surf spots, with friends and friends of different personalities, and one of your strengths is really being able to be the calm force when there's tumultuous personalities around you or drama around you. That is probably one of your key strengths, is being able to be steady, and sort of the rock of Gibraltar in very challenging situations. Talk to us about that, and kind of how you've seen this evolve in your life.
I think you're referring to an incident in France where 2 of my friends were beating the crap out of each other, right? Well, I knew that we were all friends and that I needed to intervene and I needed to break them apart and I needed to reason with them and calm them down and to insert myself as a friend. And I did, and it ended up working out, but it was a tough moment or two because they literally were hurting each other. And to this day, they're still friends. I don't know if they want to ever recall that incident, but I certainly remember it.
Yeah.
And how I stay calm, I can't really explain that other than I believe God gave me the ability just to be able to handle situations. And maybe that comes with surfing. You get banged around out there and held down and you get beat up pretty bad. And surfers will tell you that you have to be able to breathe underwater and hold your breath and be calm. And sometimes you don't know which way's up. You're just tumbling like a rag doll. And you know you're going to get through it because you really can hold your breath for a couple of minutes. And you'll find your way up because your body's buoyant. So in that example, I know I was going to be fine. I know that my friends are going to be fine. So I use that scenario when I think about it going, I've been in worse places. I've been in situations where I didn't know which way was up and I was going to black out. But I knew that I would always get to the surface. So I think about that and I go, well, this isn't as bad as that. So I kind of
Yeah.
think about that.
Well, and what a difference it makes for those around you to know that they can count on you, and to be that rudder sometimes, when it's necessary in life. Well, Phil, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for sharing a little bit about some of the genius you have. There's a lot more, and appreciate this time and the stories. And again, just really it brings to light that there's genius in each one of us, and we're all capable of the extraordinary. So thank you, Phil.
Well, thank you for seeing that, because I forgot that I have genius. And thanks for bringing out the questions. They're great questions. Happy to share. And I hope you have many more great conversations, because you're a good interview.
Thank you.
Let's have a beer.
Yes.